Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Village Group Chat. I'm your host, Selikka Wood.
And I am the host.
Oh gosh.
Mike Rodgers.
Okay, you're the other. The other host.
The host.
Okay.
Man.
Well, we're excited to be back
We are.
offer hope and encouragement and practical tips to all of our listeners. You know, that's the whole reason we're here, right?
We're actually here.
Well, I'm here for that. You here for games.
I'm here just to bring
fun.
joy and laughter to your life. And to just explore some tips to help us more effectively parent our children.
Oh, you got serious
And,
on me real quick.
I
I like the way you
serious.
did that.
But that was fake, you know. I was just going from my memory.
Okay. All right.
But no, we're truly excited and
Yeah.
appreciative that you would even sacrifice a little bit of your time to dive deeper into our journey and your journey and just grow.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what we're hoping and praying for you guys,
I'm praying,
our listeners.
he's hoping.
You see what I got? Y'all can now since we are actually have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
You can now see what I have to deal with, and man, is it?
It's you. The problem's always you. If you ever have to wonder.
Let's just.
Can we
move
tell
on.
people how they could connect with us outside of just like listening? Like if they want to like email us or hit us up on social media or anything like that?
Yeah,
Is
since
that
you just
fine?
cut me off anyway. Yes, you
Yeah,
can
is
go
that
ahead
okay?
and do that.
Okay.
That's fine.
If you want to connect with us and send us your feedback, your comments, concerns. I hope you don't have no concerns. But if you want to, you can email us at villagegroupchat@gmail.com. Or you can hit us up on IG at The Village Group Chat or The Village Group Chat on IG. And I'm on Instagram at no_ordinary_mom. And Mike?
I'm on Instagram too. I really do need a reason to start checking this more often.
Yeah.
So hit me up on Instagram at Mike J Rodgers 1. That's Mike J RODGERS 1 on Instagram.
You know, I sent you a DM yesterday and you answered it fairly quickly. So it lets me know you are on the right track with this social media thing.
I mean,
I was really surprised at that. I expected to get a response
I
a
don't
month
even
later.
remember it, so I'm surprised that I did answer it too. So hey, just being honest, being transparent.
All right, so you know we got our segment, getting to know you, and so I have a question for you.
Man.
I wanna know, what's something common that most people have done that you have never done?
Wow. Something common that most people have done that I've never done. Yeah, something that most people have done that I've never smoked anything in my life.
I have so many questions because I'm like, how do we explain your behavior, like the way you act and you show up in the world?
It's a natural high.
Oh gosh. I mean, for all these years, I thought that had to be the reason why. So to find out that you have never smoked anything, which is a good thing in your life.
Just for me, it just was unattractive. And then also I grew up in an age where it wasn't as accepted as it is now. And so I felt like smelling like weed or ganja or whatever, it would impact my opportunity to interact with the ladies. You know, impact females. I mean, so yeah, it just was not attractive to me. But then also I understood where my history, my heritage, what a lot of black men fell victim to, and it impacted their lives. And so I wanted to stay away from that stuff.
Yeah. Definitely say no to drugs. Anybody listening, say no to drugs. For me, it would be, mine is a little bit more simpler. I have never touched a cat.
That is not just simpler. That's random.
Yeah, I mean, this is like something common that most people have maybe done in their life, but I am terrified of cats. So I've never been like in a room with one, touch one. Like, I don't know. I would probably go crazy if a cat ever touched me or I had to touch a cat. It would. You're
serious?
I'm dead serious. I'm terrified of cats.
Like, why?
I won't go to anybody's house. Like, that's what I ask before I go anywhere. Like, do you have any cats? I'm not scared of pets. It's just cats.
Is there an experience that you had like when you were younger, or you just always been?
I never really fooled with him like that, but I do remember a time like my uncle, he had a cat. And so I always kind of was like scared, like I said, but the cat that he had there had kittens in the closet. And so me and all my cousins went to go like look, everybody wanted to see the kitten. So we taking turns like looking in the closet. And then when it came to my turn, the mother cat like looked up at me, her eyes turned like bloodshot red. Like I felt like she was about to attack me, and I like ran out that apartment so fast. And so that kind of like sealed the deal for me, but I do not fool with cats at all. Some people say they just don't like them. I am scared of cats.
Yeah, I never knew that about you.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, shoot. Well,
I don't even think I could be friends. I could never be a real friend to somebody with a cat.
Wow.
Because I would never come over your house. I would never be able to like really have real interactions with you if you had a cat.
Maybe that's something that you should explore in counseling.
I'm fine. I am completely fine with living the rest of my life.
Well,
I'm interacting with cats.
I'm so glad we had an opportunity to dive deeper into finding out more information about you. I've never knew. And I would love for our listeners to share something,
something that's common. What's something that is common for you? I mean, common for others, but you've never experienced. Let us know.
Loving cats. Well,
liking Terrified.
Terrified.
It's nothing I love about it. I don't even like commercials with them joints. A commercial could come on and I would turn the channel.
I'm sure your family like got to cover your eyes or something like that.
I just don't. I don't like it.
Wow. Well, next time when we record, I'll make sure I wear a shirt with a cat on it or something.
I don't buy those type of things either. Come on, man. Let's hop into this. Let's hop into this conversation. What are we talking about today?
Oh man, I'm excited. And this is a topic or subject that I believe is important for all of us as people, or even really specifically parents or family members, just to be aware of and be knowledgeable about it. And so really the title of this episode was creating a home environment that fuels your child. And the reason why I feel like this is important, because so many people have heard this saying, home is where your heart is. And it is desired that a lot of individuals want to be at home, and then when they move away from home. But the truth of the matter is that that's not the case for everybody. For some individuals, their home life is so chaotic, it's so difficult, it's so draining, it's so it doesn't do anything to build them up. They want to get away when they are able to have the opportunity to go to college in a different area, or go to an environment, or hang out with friends. They hang out with their friends. They do not go home. And so really, from hearing that saying, what aspects of your life or your home life can be extremely draining?
Yeah, you mean like personally? Or you mean just like in general, you think that people like face? I think generally speaking, things that drain people and make them not want to be home is chaos, arguing, messiness. I think a lot of people, some people live in like really, really messy houses, and that makes them, it's draining to come home to that. And I don't know, maybe just an environment where they don't feel loved or appreciated. I feel like that's something that would make somebody want to just be anywhere else but home. Yeah.
That appreciation thing is something I not to say I can relate to, but growing up in an environment or a family with so many kids, like it was 6 kids, and my parents did the best job that they can, but just being able to appreciate or how I was wired, or how I was structured, and is something that was a challenge. Now, my parents, and I've talked about this before, we have a great relationship to this day, but just being able to appreciate, just letting them know, hey, good job on this, or good job on that, or you made your bed up today, you took the trash out. I just think that's something that all of us need to be aware of and remember.
Yeah.
And that wasn't something that I necessarily had growing up.
Yeah, I feel like for when I was growing up, I went through seasons of not wanting to be at home. Like I think about when my younger childhood, that's when I was with my grandparents. I don't know if I ever talked about this on here or maybe the other podcast, but I was raised by my paternal grandparents up until they passed away. And so then I would visit my dad's house one weekend, then my mother's house the next weekend. So I alternated. So basically I was at each of my parents' house 2 weekends out of the month, and throughout the week I was with my grandparents. But then, and I loved like being in my grandparents' house, like home cooked meals, like that was my home. That's where I felt safest. And when I became like once they had passed away, and then my dad had bought a house out in the suburbs, and I went there, and then like a little bit later in my teenage years, I moved with my mother. It was just like a lot of like instability like throughout those years. And so I can remember like being younger, always feeling like I wanted to be home and safe. But then once I got older, it was like I was always there. You heard me talk about the listeners, and you know her, you know, Buffy and Bunny, my cousins. Yeah. Like I was always at their house. Like I practically lived there in my teenage years. Like I would go to school from there. I found it was a bus that took me to my school. They went to completely different schools from me, but that's where I felt like safe, loved, and just comforted. And you know, to this day, I still feel like that when I go there. So I have like seasons of like just not wanting to be at my own house, and then I have other memories of just feeling so safe and loved, and especially in my younger years.
Yeah, that's interesting. And again, with everybody's experience is different. You know, I remember growing up in my household, and even though we were broke, I'm telling you, we broke. Like, and it wasn't because my parents didn't have a job. My mom had so many children to care for, and she had jobs from time to time. But my dad, he was in sales, and so if you sell like copiers or equipment, you know, you do have some type of income. There was a base salary that he would have, but you know, oftentimes, you know, depending on what the economy, what's going on in the economy, would influence like how many companies are able to buy copies. So I remember there was so many difficult moments or times, but even though we were broke, we never felt that way, because it was just important to, and really started with my parents, just to make sure that our relationships were strong, that we were had memories and experiences. I remember when Super Soaker came out, all of us wanted a Super Soaker for our Christmas, and then surprise, it showed up, and we were, you know, even though it was one for like 4 or 5 kids, you know, but you know, we still held on to those things, and those experiences were memories that I have, you know. Even just another experience I have, just memory. We used to have this white kitchen table, and when it was time for dinner, we all was sitting around that kitchen table at dinner. I don't remember what the conversations were, but I still remember physically sitting around that table. You know, one of my older brothers was to my left. My dad would be to my right. My mom would be over here. My sister was straight across it. So, you know, those memories are definitely things that you hold on to.
Man, it's always so crazy whenever we have conversations like this, and I just realize how different we grew up and our lives were. But I also think that's the great thing about, you know, us and our friendship. We able to kind of like glean from each other. But I'm like, that was not my childhood. Wow. We didn't eat together. We didn't do, you know, any of those things. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. But you're doing it now?
Yes. We're going to get into that later. Yeah. The way that I grew up 100% impacts the way that I raise my children in a way that I have gone to the extreme opposite.
Yeah. So you started the conversation. Let's dive a little more into that. What are aspects of your home life that were lacking when you were growing up that you're able to do and give to your child now?
Yeah, I know in our house, my children, like how they feel matters to me. I always wanted to create an environment where they could express how they feel. I don't look at, I know a lot, especially in like Black households, anytime we express ourselves, if a child expresses themselves in any way, like Black parents will look at that as like disrespect. And I don't feel that way. I don't understand how we can expect we want our children to go out in the world and be able to advocate for themselves and be bold and not followers, but we don't give them the voice to say that they dislike something in your own home. Like, how can you expect for them to go out in the world and be these strong individuals if you don't even allow that space in your own home? So I really do give my kids an opportunity to speak. And I mean, it's a difference between speaking your mind and disrespect. Like, we all know what disrespect is, but I don't look at any, if you disagree with me, that's not disrespect in my eyes. And so I'm thankful for just the environment that, my husband and I have been able to provide for our kids, where I truly feel like they feel safe. They want to be around us. Like, we do a lot of things as a family. That's something I didn't grow up, doing. I used to do stuff for like my extended family, but my parents were divorced. So it was like it was the family unit was separated. So I really do value the time that I'm able to create memories with my kids, and I do it intentionally. Like, Demont and I will map out what it is that we want to do, and like what it is that we hope that the kids take away from it. Yeah, that's good. Like the feeling, not like a teaching moment. Like, we hope that they feel loved when we do this. We hope that they feel valued. Like, we'll have certain conversations with them. So yeah, we're just pretty intentional about stuff like that.
That's good. I mean, you are no ordinary mom, and that's real. I believe that that title accurately describes your home life.
Yeah, I hope when my kids grow up that they know just all the effort and thought that I put into raising them, and I just hope they feel loved. Yeah, that's and not overlooked. That's good. Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, that question's so loaded, so many different. Again, I'm appreciative that my parents were present, they were there, but I know I was always the kid that used to ask why, and just in that season or the environment that my parents had grew up in, that question would have got you knocked out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and so when it came to me asking why, it wasn't from a term of a place of disrespect. It was more from a place of curiosity. Just why? Like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Why is it important to not to overlook this? And so, one of the things that I've always tried to do, especially my wife and I tried to do when it comes to our children, is give them the space to ask why. But again, if it's disrespectful, we want to make sure we check that. But, at least give them a little bit of room to respectfully inquire about something that we may be asking them to do.
Yeah, because you never want them to go out. Like, they're going to have relationships and interactions outside of your household. Like, you never want them just to go along to get along outside your house. So it's like, you really are empowering them by allowing them to do that.
Yeah, I want my children to be leaders. Yeah, both of them in any environment that they're in, whether it's school or sports related. Even like some after school activities. I want them to be leaders.
Yeah, I remember. I think I told this some years back on the Extreme Parenting podcast. I remember being in the Pizza Hut with my grandmother. It was my grandmother, me, and and an aunt of mine. And so they were talking like grown up talk. Something was going on with my aunt who wasn't present, and they were talking, and I'm like a kid. And do you remember this? They were yes. And I asked the question. I said something like, "Well, why does she live with us?" They talking amongst themselves, and I was like, "Well, why does she live with us?" And my grandmother smacked me so hard. I felt like one of them cartoons with the stars when they went around your head. Like, I can still remember that feeling. Of but just like, it was one of them joints where you felt like, is this a dream? Did that just happen? It was that, like, and then she went on back talking as if it was nothing. But that was her way of saying, stay out of grown folks' business. But I wasn't really trying. I mean, like, you're talking around me. It's three of us sitting at a table at Pizza Hut.
You want to be a part of the conversation.
I ain't never asked no more questions, but that joint was wild.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's real. So, you know, even with what you shared just about your experience with getting smacked
quick. And it was like it never happened.
By your grandmother, I can only imagine like what that experience feels how you felt during that experience. But, you know, I can only imagine what that would look like inside of the environment of your family now, inside of my family. And the reality is that's what some people are dealing with to this day. Yeah.
I feel like I try to focus a lot on how certain situations and interactions make my kids feel. And I do that even by sharing how things make me feel when, you know, as they come, just to encourage them to share how they feel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I don't really focus so much on, I always talk about, like, when I think about like discipline, when I discipline my kids, like, I start with empathy and then work my way back to whatever the issue is. I instantly go, like, if they were to do something that is, you know, this needs to be corrected, I instantly will go to how it must feel to be like them, be 10 years old and not really know that was wrong, or possibly could they have been anxious, could they have been frustrated, could you be hungry, could you have been tired, like what could have caused you to make that decision. And then I'll work my way back to address like the feeling, whatever is going on, and then get to correct the behavior. So it's like I start with empathy instead of starting with correction.
Yeah I think that's a good practice all of us can take. You know, I know that wasn't your kind of like us in closing, but in closing, I think that's a great practice. I know all of us could take, you know, putting yourself inside of the other person's body, or not even body, like, but what would cause them to do that way? Was it something that they misunderstood? So, and was it something that they were desiring to gain or acquire? Really placing yourself as the parent inside of your child's shoes to help you better understand why they did what they did.
And I would encourage any family any families who are listening, parents that are listening, that if your house is a place of chaos and maybe it is draining, whatever it is, like, really just try to pinpoint what the issue is and try to resolve it. Try to find resolve, because it doesn't have to be like that. You know what I mean? But I think if you want to look past whatever's going on right now and just really try to find resolution. Try to make your house a place of peace, a place of love that you don't mind coming home to, your children won't mind coming home to. We don't all get it right all the time, but that shouldn't stop us from making an effort to making sure that your home is a place that love resides.
And shoot, I mean, this is a great asterisk, you know, a good little plug. I believe in order for us as parents to be able to create an environment for our children, that means we need to process things that happen in our environment growing up. And one of the greatest places you can do that is in counseling. Just being able to go back and gain insight, forgive in those moments where you're holding on to, but move on, and giving some level of strategy to move on and help cope and deal and process all those different things. It happens inside of counseling. So I'm a huge advocate of counseling, personal counseling.
And by getting the healing that you need, you can really change generations to come. Just by taking care of yourself and healing those traumas that you may have. Well, this is you know, I didn't know how this episode was going to go. You know, I felt like I was going to have to carry it, but you brought your own. My goodness. That's what you thought?
Nah, I mean, come on.
I swear you get on my nerves.
I didn't mean to say that. It was just I'm excited and honored to be able to go through this podcast experience with you.
Yes. Well, we thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Village Group Chat. Again, if you want to connect with us, you can email us at villagegroupchat@gmail.com. You can hit us on IG at The Village Group Chat. You can connect with me at no_ordinary_mom and Mike
J. Rodgers 1. That's Mike J RODGERS 1 on Instagram.
We hope that you were encouraged, and we'll talk to you next week.
That's right. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.